Time to call the July 16th Personnel and Finance meeting to order. First up, unless there's any additions or deletions, I need approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
We have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 3, public comment. Public comment. I don't think we have public here. We'll go on to item 4. 4A, the minutes. Need a motion and support to approve the minutes unless there's changes.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimous. Item 4B, we have Under Sheriff Cool here. 4B, the Sheriff Service Agreement with Western Schools.
Good morning. Before you, I have technically 2 items, which I'll leave it to the Commission's pleasure whether they want to break those out, but they are obviously intertwined together. Before you, I am looking for approval for a contract with Western Community School District, and in addition to that, the addition of 1 full-time road patrol deputy to staff that position. Western School Districts is coming on to our school liaison program 5 days a week. That has been their desire. The contract was formulated by the county's attorneys. It's gone back and forth between the school district and the county's attorneys and ourselves. And we've come to a final version agreement, and Western School District is prepared to sign it, and they do have approval from their school board to engage in this. With this, we're obviously looking for the addition of 1 road patrol deputy to handle these services. Now, the tricky thing becomes when you have these contracts, that's only about 9 months out of the year, what do you do with this deputy on the remainder of the school year or during the summer months so they're not completely unfunded? So we have developed a situation where we're going to apply traffic enforcement funds. We are permitted and allowed to do this. We've checked with the state of Michigan, and we're going to use the application of those traffic enforcement funds to fund this deputy in this program during the non-school year months. So essentially, like some of the other deputies that do services in some of the other school districts, they do marine patrol functions during the summertime. This deputy will do traffic enforcement functions during the summertime. He will help out with things like the MIS races, or she, could be he or she. They'll help out with things like traffic control at the fair. They'll help out with a number of other varieties, along with providing traffic enforcement on the county's secondary roads to the variety of villages. So we are obviously already in the districts to some degree of Northwest, Grass Lake, Hannibal Horton, Michigan Center, East Jackson, Vandercook Lake, the Intermediate School District, and the Career Center. We will now bring Western School Districts into the fold. This will be 5 days per week in which the deputy will be out there, so full-time during the school year. And we'll do a variety of functions within the school, and that includes all the buildings and all the districts within that school district, high school, elementaries, the vocational center off Robinson Road, and they'll do a variety of functions, both educational programs, one-on-one contact with the students, and of course any law enforcement issues that they may come in contact with, and then school safety. One of the biggest things that we do is train the staff, the principals, the teachers, all of the staff on these professional development days about response to active shooters and how to handle those situations. Obviously, this has become very prominent in our society, and so that's one of the chief things that we do is we give them that hands-on training so they know what it's like. They can hear the sound of gunshots, obviously blanks, in the school building, what that will sound like, what the process is, and what they would do if this situation happened. So it is a very valuable function. We've had many spirited conversations between Human Resources and Finance about how this arrangement would work. A number of these figures were derived from them, and I do believe, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I have their support in this process. They provide me a good amount of information, and I've gone back and forth with Finance many times about this. So this brings us to a very close situation where we have full cost recovery both in the school years and non-school years. We're bringing additional revenue into the school liaison budget, and that will cover the addition of this deputy in this program. I think this is a very unique situation. I think it places the board in a very advantageous position to say we're not going to wait for the state or the federal government to do something about the safety of our schools. We're going to take leadership. Obviously, there has to be buy-in and costs from the schools, and they're willing to pay that. The rate that Western Schools is paying will be the increased rate that all the other districts are paying this year. And I think it provides all of you a position to say, look, we're going to support this. We're going to move this ahead because the safety of our children, the safety of our buildings is paramount.
Dr. Tompkins.
Will this individual have any additional special training other than what you normally have for the sheriff deputies?
Yes, so there's a number of trainings that we will be sending them to, and most of it has to do with a lot of this active shooter response training, but also in addition to that, a lot of it is about these school programs and how to deal with these people, but how to deal with the students, how to interact with the students. But in addition to that, we'd like to have the districts at least participation or input about who may be selected for this process, and we think it's paramount that both our department and the school district has somebody that is a good fit for their district, a good fit for their children and their teachers and things like that. Fortunately, in the past, we've not had any issues, but we will certainly engage the school district in this process about who will be in their buildings.
But you will also go into the buildings and teach the students and the teachers what to do in case of an active shooter?
Absolutely. We do hands-on training, and so typically what we do is, because we have a number of deputies within the school liaison program, is all of them will converge on a school district for a day, depending on what the district wants for that day, because the districts have these professional development days throughout the course of their school year, and then what we do is we do them classroom instruction, and we kind of explain to them how the process works, and we teach the run, hide, fight module, and so then after we do some kind of classroom stuff and some lecturing, then we'll move into an actual process of fire and blank rounds in the hallway, what to do if someone's trying to get into your door, things like that. So we'll go through the physical, actual motions of what they would want to do. Typically we put these, what are called red man suits on so they can attack the perpetrator, which is usually one of our deputies, and have them get into the thought process of, if this is the very last option, what will I do? And that's probably one of the most valuable things, along with the day-to-day interaction of the students, that this program brings.
Further questions?
I would move to approve the motion as requested.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think this is a great program, much needed.
Agreed.
Next up, 4C, facilities, talking about JC Dot card access security system.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. With your indulgence, I'd like to have Mr. Wellman present.
Yes,
Morning.
sir.
In front of you, you have a request to implement a card access system at our JC Dot facility on Elm Street. This would include putting card access at the two rear entrances to JDOT, at the main front entrance, and at the entrance to the garage. We would be overseeing this project with the IT department, S.A. Mormon, hardware door company, and safety systems. By overseeing it as the general contractor, we'd be saving the county roughly 15% that we would normally send out to a GC to oversee it.
Questions? Just for clarity's sake, we do have some key or access doors right now,
No,
card access, none at all?
everything out there is keyed, and there are people who no longer work there who still have access because you can't collect all those keys, and it creates a security issue, and that's what we'd like to get away from.
I see it was going to replace, install some new lock sets and, okay, I'm good.
A lot of that is because of we're not removing the existing entrances or exits, we're just securing them. So it requires removing hardware from the outside of the door and installing new on the inside of the door.
Of course, it'll be programmable.
Yes, it'll all be controlled by the facilities office.
Any questions?
So what happens if we have power outage? Like, is there a master key override that you guys would have at least? Physical?
We have generators, batteries,
Yep.
and a key.
Everything has battery backup, plus JC Dot is equipped with a generator, and then you have key access. All of the doors, as far as a fire alarm system, will default open, so nobody's trapped inside.
Have a motion and support?
So moved.
Support. Okay, we have motion and support, this will go to the full board. Anybody, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 4D, Health Department Budget Adjustment. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. I have a budget amendment, as you can see. It's pretty routine budget amendment I do probably every year, maybe a couple times a year. Some grant funding changes, as we usually have, right-sizing the departments for the actual trends in the expenses, and then just reallocating some retirement cost. So I don't know if there's any questions on that budget amendment?
Don't think so. We do this every year, it seems.
Yeah.
Pick up new sources of revenue and, yeah, new grants and all. Any questions, board? Not, I need a motion and support. You have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
All right.
Have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 4E, our monthly financial report. Welcome, Jim.
Morning. Morning. We're presenting to you the financial statements for the 5 months ended May of 2018. Our budget benchmark is 41.7%. Year-to-date expenditures are 40.2. The year-to-date expenditure average, the three-year historical average is at 42.8, so we are below historical trends in terms of expenditures. That's the good news. The year-to-date revenue total is 18.5. However, our historical trend is 23%, so we're below the pace so far this year in terms of the revenue. Be happy to answer any questions you may have in terms of any specific items. One additional comment that I have is the page 6 at the end. Again, we're presenting a summary of the activity of the bond, the pension bond investments. And this is a year-to-date number. However, May's activity is a little better. The net losses for the year and the prior month was over $2 million, so now there's an improvement of almost $600,000. So the loss is $1.7 million year-to-date and so forth. So there's that improvement. And of course, as you know, the market has been rather volatile lately, but again, there's improvement there. So be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Questions? Commissioner Tompkins.
What do you mainly attribute the drop in revenue to?
In some cases, let me back up. The financial statements are on what we call a cash basis. Cash basis is that we are just recording what we receive. At the end of the year, we accrue amounts due to the county and so forth. So throughout the year, there is a difference between, the receipt of the monies. In some cases, it's received earlier in the year, in some cases not, that type of thing. So again, it's a timing question in terms of the revenue received.
So the tax bills that just came out that I just paid, okay, that's not really included in this?
No,
No,
it is
so
not.
it'll probably be up later on when the tax bills are.
Yes, that's correct, Commissioner. If you look at the chart, that's part of the reason. Page 5 of the financials, the revenue percent the budget, if we look at the blue amounts, you can see that revenue is pretty flat through the first months of the fiscal year. And then starting in September, when all the tax bills are due, you can see that the revenue jumps up significantly. So in terms of cash flow for the general fund, the lowest months are July and August, and then that picks up. And of course, we appreciate anyone who pays their property taxes early, because then we get that money early, so.
Welcome.
Okay, very good.
I pay mine the day before they're due.
Me too.
Okay, any other questions for finance? Thank you, great report again, as always, it's really clear, thank you. Okay, item 5 is where we're at now. 5A is the claims. Need a motion and support to pay the claims?
So moved.
Support.
Motion support, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed the same. Claims will be paid. Other minutes, we do not have any to review. We don't have anything on the August reporting schedule as of yet. No public for comment. Committee member comment. Thank you, board. We are adjourned.